Welcome to Daily English Talk.
Welcome back to Daily English Talk. I'm Jack,
And I'm Emma.
and today we are doing a deep dive into something that, well, I think it gives almost everyone a little bit of anxiety,
Oh, absolutely.
regardless of how seasoned a traveler you might be. But if you're doing it in a second language, forget about it. The stress level just goes completely through the roof.
It really does. It's like the perfect storm of pressure, you know? I mean, I'm actually planning a trip right now, and my stomach is already in knots just thinking about the airport environment.
Really? You travel a fair bit, though. What is it specifically that gets you so nervous?
Well, it's a mix of things. There's the physical struggle, obviously, lugging heavy suitcases around, trying not to bump into people.
Yeah, that's never fun.
And then the logistical fears, like what if the
Yeah.
security line is too long and I end up missing the flight?
Right, the clock is always ticking.
But the core fear, the absolute big one for me, is the communication barrier. When I step up to that check-in counter, my mind just goes completely blank.
The famous brain freeze.
Exactly. It's like my hard drive gets wiped. I know I have all this vocabulary stored somewhere, but in that moment, I forget everything except maybe hello and thank you.
Which is such a common feeling, especially for our listeners who are at that A1 English level. You know, you are studying hard, you want to achieve that fluid daily communication, and you feel confident practicing at home.
Right. Ordering a coffee in your kitchen is easy.
But the moment a uniformed staff member asks for your travel documents, you just freeze up. It's totally normal.
It really is. It's a physiological response to stress. You just go into survival mode.
But we have a solution for that today. We've got this incredibly useful set of source materials focused entirely on survival English for the airport.
I love these materials.
Yeah, the goal of this deep dive isn't to make you memorize a dictionary. It's about arming you with a few very specific, life-saving phrases for buying tickets and checking in.
So you can get through the airport smoothly, even with a basic English level.
Exactly. So to start, we were going to set the scene. I want you, the listener, to imagine the atmosphere of a busy terminal.
You can hear the overhead announcements echoing, the sound of suitcase wheels rolling across the tile floor.
It's loud, it's busy, and you walk up to the counter. Let's actually role-play this authentic scenario right now.
Yeah?
I'll be the passenger, and you play the airline staff.
Perfect. Step right up. Next in line, please.
Hi there. I'd like to buy a ticket to London.
Okay. One way or round trip?
Round trip for tomorrow morning, please.
Great. That ticket will be $500. Can I see your passport?
Sure. Here you go.
Thank you. Now, are you checking any bags today?
Yes, I have one suitcase to check, and this one is my carry-on bag.
Perfect. And do you have a seating preference?
I'd like a window seat, please.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
Here is your boarding pass. You will be flying out of gate B12. Have a nice flight.
Thank you so much.
And scene.
Beautifully done. That was painless, right?
Super quick.
But packed with vital information. Let's transition into the breakdown of that dialogue because there is a lot of cultural nuance and specific vocabulary baked into those few short sentences.
Oh, for sure. Let's start right at the beginning. The very first thing you said to me as the passenger.
Right, I said, I'd like to buy a ticket to London.
Yes. And the key concept here is that polite structure. I'd like to. The lesson materials really emphasize this. They strongly advise against saying, I want.
I want a ticket.
Yeah, that feels a bit harsh.
It is. In English-speaking cultures, using I want for a request can come across as demanding or even a little childish. It's what a toddler says, I want candy.
Right. It doesn't set a very collaborative tone.
Exactly. I'd like to is actually the contraction for I would like to. It's much softer. It's polite and professional.
So if you're flying to New York, you don't say, I want a ticket to New York. You say, I'd like to buy a ticket to New York.
Yes. It smooths out the interaction right away. The staff member instantly feels respected, which means they're going to be much more helpful to you. That makes total sense. Okay, so moving to the second key concept from the role play. You asked me what type of ticket I needed, one way or round trip.
This is a huge one. Because getting this wrong changes the price of your ticket by hundreds of dollars.
Very true. Now, one way is pretty literal. You are going one way. You are going to a destination and not coming back on that ticket.
Right. But round trip is the term that sometimes trips up English learners.
The source materials have a brilliant memory trick for this, actually. They suggest thinking about the shape of your travel.
Yes, the geometry of the trip. Think of a circle.
A circle is round.
Exactly. You start at your home, which is point A. You fly to point B, let's say London. And then later, you curve back around to your home, point A.
You complete the circle.
You complete the circle. So it is a round trip.
I love that. If you are coming home eventually, You're making a circle, so you need a round-trip ticket. It's such a simple visual.
It really is. Once you picture that circle, you'll never forget it.
Okay, so we've established the trip type. The next hurdle in this scenario was the payment and the ID check. You said the ticket was $500 and asked for my passport.
Right, and here is where we get into a really fascinating cultural habit, the universal handover.
Yes. When I gave you my passport, I didn't just slide it across the desk in silence.
You said, here you go.
Here you go.
This is such an important tip for learners. In English interactions, it feels very awkward, almost robotic, to physically hand an object to someone without saying anything.
It creates this weird dead air.
It does. If you just thrust a passport at the staff member and stare at them, it looks like you're nervous or even slightly aggressive.
But adding "here you go" changes everything. It fills the silence. It signals, I understand what you asked for, and I am giving it to you.
And the best part is you can use it for absolutely anything.
Handing over your credit card,
Here you go.
giving your bags to the staff,
Here you go.
passing a menu back to a waiter.
Here you go. It is the ultimate life-saving phrase. It makes you sound so natural and confident.
It really is the duct tape of English conversation. It fixes any awkward gap.
Great way to put it.
All right, let's look at the next key concept, the luggage terminology. This is where things can get genuinely confusing because of the vocabulary.
Oh, absolutely. The difference between check and carry-on.
Right, because we are standing at the check-in counter, but then the staff asks, do you have any bags to check?
It's the same word used in two different ways. It confuses a lot of people.
So how do the materials tell us to separate these terms?
Well, you have to think about the action. When you check a bag, you are giving it to the airline. You are saying goodbye to it. They're going to put it down into the cargo hold of the airplane, and you won't see it again until you land at your destination.
So checked luggage means the big heavy bags that you don't want to drag through the airport.
Exactly. Now, contrast that with carry-on.
Which is a very literal term.
Super literal. You carry it onto the plane with you.
So that's your backpack, your laptop bag, maybe a small rolling suitcase that fits in the overhead bin.
Right. It stays with you the whole time. So when the staff asks about bags, you can confidently say, I have one to check and one carry-on.
It clears up the confusion instantly. Okay, that brings us to the fifth and final concept from our breakdown, and it might be the trickiest one of all, seating preferences.
Ah, yes. The pronunciation trap.
The materials dedicate quite a bit of space to this. So you have the window seat, which is easy to say and easy to understand. You sit next to the window, you look at the clouds.
But then you have the seat next to the walking path, the corridor.
And it is spelled A-I-S-L-E.
It looks like a complete disaster of a word.
It really does. If you try to read it phonetically, you might say Aziali or Icelet.
Which I have heard people say, and the staff usually figures it out, but it causes a moment of confusion.
So what is the correct pronunciation?
You have to ignore the spelling entirely. The S in that word is completely silent. It's a ghost letter. You pronounce the word like I-L.
Like the first part of the phrase, I will, I'll.
Yes. Or think of an island. Isle.
So you say, I'd like an aisle seat?
Exactly. I'll take the aisle.
That's a great little rhyme to remember it. I'll take the aisle.
Now, out of curiosity, which one do you actually prefer?
Oh, I'm a window guy all the way. I like to lean my head against the wall and just sleep for the entire flight.
See, I cannot do that. I am an aisle person. I need the freedom. I don't want to have to wake up two strangers and climb over them just to go use the restroom.
That is a very valid point.
Yeah.
But regardless of what you prefer, knowing how to ask for it is crucial. Because if you don't specify or if they don't understand you, they might just stick you in the middle seat.
And nobody wants the middle seat?
No, the middle seat is a punishment.
So practice that silent S aisle.
All right, so we've mastered the counter interaction. We were polite with, I'd like to. We mapped out our round trip circle, handed over the passport with a confident, here you go, check the big bag, and successfully pronounced aisle to get our preferred seat.
We survived the hardest part.
We did. But our deep dive isn't over yet. The source materials pivot here to offer some essential airport tips. Because having great English vocabulary won't help you if you end up missing your flight anyway.
Oh, this is so true. These are the logistical traps that catch people off guard.
The first major tip is about the gate.
Right. So in our role play, I told you that your flight was leaving from gate B12. And it says B12 right there printed on your boarding pass.
Right, so I just walk to B12, sit down, put my headphones on, and wait.
And that is exactly how people miss their flights.
Wait, really? Why?
Because gates change. Airports are incredibly dynamic places. A plane arrives late, a bridge breaks, and suddenly your flight is moved to gate C4 on the other side of the terminal.
Ah, and the piece of paper in my hand doesn't update.
Exactly. The boarding pass is just a snapshot of the plan at the moment it was printed. It is not a guarantee.
So what's the strategy?
You have to monitor the digital screens. The screens are the ultimate source of truth in an airport. Once you get through security, check the big departure boards. And even after you sit down at gate B12, keep an eye on the smaller screen right above the desk.
So trust the screens, not the paper.
Always trust the screens.
That is fantastic advice. The second big tip from the materials addresses time. Specifically, the difference between boarding time and departure time.
This is a classic rookie mistake, and it causes so much panic.
Because you look at your ticket and it says departure, 10:40 a.m. So logic tells you, okay, if I walk up to the gate at 10:30, I'm 10 minutes early. I have plenty of time.
Right, but if you do that, you will be watching your airplane roll away without you.
Why is that? What does departure actually mean?
Departure time is the moment the wheels are supposed to leave the ground, or at least when the plane pushes back from the building.
Oh, wow. So the doors are already closed.
Long closed. The time you actually need to care about is the boarding time. That is when they start letting passengers onto the plane.
And when is that usually?
It's typically 30 to 40 minutes before the departure time. So for a 10.4 flight, boarding probably starts right around 10.0. And they usually close the doors about 15 minutes before departure.
So if you show up at 10:30, it's game over.
Game over. The bridge is detached. You are stuck.
So the key takeaway here is departure time is for the pilot. Boarding time is for you.
Yes. Do not play games with airport time. Always aim for the boarding time.
These tips are incredibly practical. I love how these lesson materials blend language skills with actual travel survival skills.
Well, they go hand in hand, right? Functional fluency isn't just knowing the grammar, it's understanding how the systems work so you can navigate them confidently.
It really reframes the whole experience. Instead of the airport being this chaotic, scary place where you might say the wrong thing, it becomes a predictable series of steps. You just have to follow the script.
Exactly. You learn your lines, you hit your marks, and you get on the plane.
Speaking of learning your lines, it is time for the final module of our deep dive today. The task and interaction.
Yes, this is where we hand it over to you, the listener. We want to make sure these concepts really stick.
So here is your mission. We want you to imagine you are walking up to the check-in counter right now.
Visualize the staff member looking up at you from their computer.
Here are the parameters of your trip. You are going to New York. You need to come back home eventually, so it is not a one-way trip. And you want to be able to get up and stretch your legs easily during the flight, so you have a specific seating preference.
Okay, so just to recap the details. Destination is New York. It's the circle type of ticket. And you want the seat next to the walking path.
The challenge is, what do you say to the staff? How do you put those pieces together into a natural, polite sentence?
Remember to use that soft, polite opening structure we talked about. Don't demand it.
And pay special attention to how you pronounce that seating preference. Don't let the silent letter trick you.
I would actually encourage you to say it out loud right now, wherever you are, even if you're just washing the dishes or taking a walk.
Definitely. Speak it out loud. Muscle memory is a real thing in language learning. If you practice saying, "I'd like to," out loud today, the words will be right there waiting for you when you actually need them under pressure.
And if you're feeling brave, write your answer down in the comments or record a quick audio clip of your sentence.
It's all about taking that knowledge from passive understanding to active practice.
You know, before we wrap up, I just want to add one quick thought about why all of this matters so much.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
We've been talking about these phrases as tools, ways to get a ticket or find a seat. But using polite language like "I'd like to" and saying, "Here you go," when you hand something over, it does more than just transmit information. It acknowledges the humanity of the person behind the counter.
Oh, that's a really good point.
Airport staff deal with stressed, grumpy people all day long. When you take a breath and use these softer, more conversational phrases, you change the entire energy of the interaction. You aren't treating them like a vending machine.
You're treating them like a partner. You're having a real conversation. And a little bit of respect in a stressful environment like that really does go a long way.
It absolutely does.
Well, that is a perfect note to end on. Remember your lines, trust the screens, and enjoy your journey. We can't wait to hear your practice. This is Daily English Talk. See you next time.